As everybody knows, I'm sure you've seen pictures or videos or news footage. Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un yesterday met for the first time. They shook hands and they signed a denuclearization agreement, which has more stuff I'm going to share later. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the second clip. But what's the media missing about the Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un meeting? Because they're saying a lot of stuff. There's a lot of negativity. Don't do this, this, and that. And I'm going to break down their whole ideology and their whole philosophy and how it's a total fail and how it's a total dishonest, just spin job to make everything negative. So first of all, the last 10 to 20 years, I don't know how long we've been beefing with North Korea, at least a large majority of my lifetime. They told us that North Korea wanted to nuke the United States. They said North Korea wants to kill Americans. They want to nuke you. North Korea is a huge threat. So if North Korea is a huge nuclear threat, there's three options that we could have done, okay? If North Korea is really this big nuclear threat that wants to blow up the United States, here's what we could have done. We could have started a full-on war with North Korea, and we could have won it. So that's one way we could have stopped the whole North Korea situation, was to start a full-on war with them and then win. I mean, and I would hope that that's a last-ditch effort for everybody, regardless of Republican or Democrat. I would hope you don't want to start a full-on war with a bunch of innocent North Koreans who didn't choose their lives or choose to be there. The second thing we could have done was to get along with North Korea. So we don't have a lot of options. If they want to start a nuclear war with us, either we have to start a nuclear war and win, or we can get along with them. And the third option, which is similar to get along with them, would be use military moves to negotiate peace. And Donald Trump did the last two of the three things. Instead of starting a full, there's no other options. You can't, or I guess the fourth option would be let North Korea blow up the United States if that's truly what they want to do, or let them threaten us for years and let them get to the point where they're building their nuclear weapons and actually posing a threat. So there's not a lot of options. It's either start a full-on war and win it, get along with them, use military moves to negotiate peace, or let them threaten and blow up the United States. I mean, those are the options. President Trump, being the decent person that he is, he didn't start a full-on war. He wasn't going to wait until they built bigger nuclear weapons to blow us up. He decided to get along with them, and he decided to use military moves, strategically place, aircrafts and, Navy situations to, scare them into negotiating. So he did get along with them, use military moves to negotiate peace. Those are the only options. They're going to act like he could have done something else. So now that President Trump did the right thing, instead of starting a full-on war or letting them kill us, he got along with them. What's their narrative now? They say, North Korea and the U.S. are getting along. How could Donald Trump do that? Oh my goodness, did Donald Trump just compliment a murderous regime? How could Donald Trump say something nice about someone who's killed so many people? This is always their narrative. As soon as Donald Trump wants to get along with Vladimir Putin or get along with Kim Jong-un or literally do what no other leader has done, which is get along with the craziest leaders in the world, that's what, if you want world peace, you got to either kill the leader, which they did in Libya, which didn't work out. Now there's extremists and slave trade and organ harvesting, reports of that going on in Libya, so that didn't work out. We tried that with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Now we're trying a crazy idea, which is speak to the people, speak to Vladimir Putin, speak to Kim Jong-un. And the media says, oh my goodness, they're a murderous regime. How in the world can he talk to them? Well, what else do you want him to do? Is either you start a war with them, if he's really that murderous a regime, what are you going to kill the leader of North Korea and leave a power vacuum for someone else to take over? He got along with them. And this is why this is a failed ideology, why people love Donald Trump, why he won presidency, and why he's probably going to win even bigger in 2020. Donald Trump is actually honest about America, especially liberals and especially progressives, but also a lot of modern-day conservatives and Republicans can admit the United States is not perfect, okay? We've been a murderous regime for a long time. If you want to talk about Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, all the negative things they've done, you have to, critically and honestly assess the United States. What have we done? We've infiltrated multiple governments. We've rigged elections all over the world. We've killed leaders. There's reports of, I don't know what's happening under the Trump administration. Hopefully it's better, but I know The Atlantic put out a report under Obama's administration that, Obama's drone strikes were hitting 70% civilians. Hopefully President Trump is doing better, but it's like we're a murderous regime, whether people like it or not. I'm not saying we are now. I'm not saying we always were, but we've done a lot of terrible things. Under the Obama administration, they killed the leader of Libya, which literally led to one of the biggest humanitarian crises. Right now, there's a huge humanitarian crisis in Yemen, where there's a blockade. You know, Saudi Arabia, we're funding them, and there's reports of the Yemeni people starving. There's a lot of terrible things going on in the world now, and what's different between president, and I'm not saying that's great, or I agree with it, I totally don't. We need to figure out and help these people. But President Trump has the gall to admit that. I mean, no anti-Trump pundit wants to admit that. They say, how could you talk to Putin? How dare you talk to Kim Jong-un? They're murderous regimes. And you know what Trump said on Bill O'Reilly before Bill O'Reilly got fired by Fox News? Bill O'Reilly posed that exact question to him. He said, how in the world could you talk to Vladimir Putin and compliment him? He's a killer. And Trump looks straight into the camera, straight into Bill O'Reilly, and he says, oh, Putin's a killer? There's a lot of killers, okay? There's a lot of killers in the world. And Trump, and Bill O'Reilly was like, whoa, well, nobody in America is like Putin. They've never done the bad stuff he's done. And Trump's like, oh yeah? Yeah, they have. He's like, there's a lot of killers in America too. So Trump, should get a lot of street cred for this. He actually admits that there are a lot of killers in the United States as well, and that we don't have completely clean hands when it comes to this situation. So I'm not saying North Korea is great. I'm not saying Vladimir Putin's great, but at least President Trump has the gall to admit we've done a lot of terrible things as well. And if you really want to solve a problem, you have to self-reflect on yourself. America, it's been long overdue, and I don't even know that President Trump's doing it enough to the full extent, but America needs to self-reflect on what America has done, okay? I'm the first one to tell you that I think America is one of the greatest civilizations of all time. I think we're one of the free and most beautiful countries, and I appreciate a lot of things, but we also have a lot of self-reflecting to do. And the pessimist will say Donald Trump's whatever terrible person. The optimist is myself. When Trump started saying America first, I didn't start thinking about racism or like anti-global, people. I was like, oh, finally, we have a guy who's ready to like worry about America's problems, because we've always had politicians talking about all these other countries. Meanwhile, they're doing absolutely nothing, wasting our money. And meanwhile, our streets are getting worse. Our education is getting worse. Our education's lower than like 16th worldwide. And education's one of the most important things. So how are we the best country in the world if we don't have good education? Our taxes are going up. Our healthcare is going up. So Trump came into office and he was like, yo, we're going to focus on America. And it's like, yeah, we need to do that. And this, my friends, it's not only just with North Korea and Kim Jong-un. This is the problem with the delusional left wing, progressives, especially liberals, and the Trump haters. And I'm not saying this to pick sides or be mean. Conservatives have a lot of issues as well. But the liberals, they don't self-reflect. So when President Trump says, we're killers too, I'm going to try to get along with Kim Jong-un and make world peace, they freak out because they say, oh, but what's Putin doing? What's Kim Jong-un doing? They're murders. They never self-reflect and look at themselves and realize that they are the exact hypocritical, exact same thing that they think they're stopping. They are always that. And it goes not only with Kim Jong-un, it goes with politics. That's why they lost the election to Donald Trump. It's not because Donald Trump's perfect. Nobody thinks Donald Trump's perfect. Nobody said Donald Trump's not perfect. I'm sure 90% of his supporters will tell you he's definitely a little bit arrogant, and he's definitely got like a WWE character sort of vibe to him, but no one thinks he's perfect. The difference is we know Trump's not perfect, but we know who you are. And that's a big shock for the mainstream media, for the CNNs and MSNBC. They have no self-awareness and no self-accountability, so they don't know who they are. They don't know who America is. They want to act like Kim Jong-un's bad. Look at America, 1980 through 2016. What were we doing in the Middle East? What were we doing in these other countries? What were we doing in Africa? Okay, if you're going to point the finger at someone else, you have to self-reflect or you're going to keep losing. And it's such a failed ideology when it comes to Kim Jong-un, because there's no winning. If you start a war with North Korea, you're going to blow up the world. If you let North Korea continue to escalate, you're going to blow up the world. And the second you get along with North Korea and stop the world from being blown up, now you're getting along with a murderous regime. Is it just me? Or do these people sound like they have some sort of psychopathic tendency where they're like literally just trying to fearmonger? It's like, either you blow up the world or I'm going to be mad that you didn't blow up the world, and I'm going to do mental gymnastics to figure out how you shouldn't talk to a murderous regime. So should we let them blow up the world? Should we not let them blow up the world? Should we start a war with them, or should we get along? Because we don't have 50 million options. There's no such thing as like condemning a murderous regime, but secretly getting along with them without ever actually communicating with them and really not liking them. But somehow it's like that option is non-existent. So this is that ideology. And I use this example as very, very important for people who hate Trump. They've gotten so comfortable in their hate for Trump, they don't realize who they are and why they're losing to Trump. My example that I always use, imagine the Cavaliers and the Warriors play in the finals, like it just happened. If anyone wasn't paying attention, it was a 4-0 sweep. The Golden State Warriors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. In order for the Cleveland Cavaliers to win the game, they have to be the better basketball team. Their actions have to be bigger than their words. Nothing that they say will matter. They have to play basketball and win the game. The Cleveland Cavaliers don't win the basketball game by saying, the Golden State Warriors suck. Oh my God, I'm so much better than the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry sucks. Kevin Durant sucks. Draymond Green sucks and he's annoying. That will never win a basketball game. You can't win the game unless you play better. Your actions on the court is what determines the score of the game and the championship. It's not what you say about the other team. That has nothing to do with the final outcome. It's the same exact metaphor, 100% translates to politics. The Democrats and the liberals and the Trump haters and the progressives and whatever you want to call yourself, the Green Party, the Blue Party, the Orange Party, the Pink Party, the I wear a vagina on my head party, whatever, I don't care what you're doing, but you're never going to make yourself look better by putting someone else down. It's never going to legitimize your ideology. It's never going to make what you're saying smart or intelligent or accurate or a full-scale approach or, realistic or logical or rational. Just because you make fun of other people, just because you go, oh my God, there's stupid racist people in Kansas, and there's stupid people in Texas, and Oklahoma, man, there's some really dumb white people. Oh, yeah, congratulations, great. I'm sure there are very ignorant people in Oklahoma. Not everyone, of course. I'm sure there's millions of beautiful, amazing people, but yeah, of course, I'm sure there's some terrible Republicans and conservatives. I know there are. I have to block some on my page sometimes, but that doesn't make me a superstar because I'm able to identify like the small fringe group of horrible people that exist everywhere. It doesn't make me look better. It doesn't make me more successful. So this is the ideology. It stems further than Trump and Kim Jong-un. It's just it's their failed ideology. They're trying to slap it onto Trump and Kim Jong-un now and say, oh no, don't get along with the murderous regime. Oh no, world peace is bad now. It's because your ideology doesn't make sense. And it's why there's a mass exodus of the left-wing party. I'm a hippie. Peace, love, positivity, LGBT. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. God bless you. I love you. I appreciate you. And you know what I'm saying? I don't care. But I will never, ever, until something changes, identify with anybody on the left, liberal or progressive, because they have no self-awareness. All they have are personal attacks on other people. Oh, Kim Jong-un's bad. Vladimir Putin. Who are you, though? That's the whole point that they're missing. Yeah, Trump is not perfect, but he's running circles around you because even Christians and Republicans and conservatives who, in my personal opinion, over the last 10 years, no offense, God bless you guys, but very stubborn. You know what I'm saying? Stuck in ideology. Christians are not trying to budge. Republicans are not trying to budge. But I've been seeing Christians and Republicans become more open-minded and embracing more things and learning a lot and being like, able to have a conversation, and liberals who self-proclaimed love science and they're the liberal ones, they have become so close-minded where they are now the smallest circle and the most close-minded people in the United States of America. So just because you can say I hate conservatives and I hate Trump and I hate Kim Jong-un and I hate Vladimir Putin, it doesn't help you win the game. Just like it wouldn't help LeBron James win the game just because he could talk bad about Steph Curry. You have to play ball. It's no different in politics. What are the Democrats? What do they stand up for? No one knows. What are they the party of? Illegal immigrants over like legal Latino citizens? I hate you. If you're black and you like Trump, we're going to say you're racist, even though you're black and I'm white and I work for MSNBC. It's like, I don't know they don't have an agenda anymore. No disrespect. I don't care about race, religion, and gender. I'm saying those are the people that are pushing all this racist and sexist and xenophobic like madness and hysteria, but they don't even have an opinion. They're just like freaking out about everything. They're like, oh my God, Trump's getting along with Kim Jong-un. It's a murderous regime. It's like, how do you think you're going to stop that? You change it with love. How do you stop Kim Jong-un? If he's truly running a murderous regime, how do you stop it? By not talking to him or by getting close to him and saying, Kim Jong-un, I'm Donald Trump. Here you go, buddy. We're going to give you McDonald's. We're going to give you fast food. We're going to give you Western technology. We're going to give you more electricity. Stop being a dickhead. And then Kim Jong-un will be like, oh, yeah, you're right. That's how you get through to somebody. You don't scream at them. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a good person now. That's a stupid ideology. So, yeah, Trump is talking to Kim Jong-un. Yeah, he might be a murderous dictator, but that's how you change. I always refer to this because it's a brilliant documentary and it shows the power of love and compassion. But Daryl Davis is African American or black, whatever word is politically correct nowadays. You know, I just think of him as a human, my American brother, but everyone's got a label. He's a jazz musician. He made like 10, 20 grand wizards of the KKK quit the KKK. He didn't do that by screaming on Twitter. He didn't do that by saying, oh my God, don't talk to them, they're a murderous regime. He did that by being so nice to people in the KKK that they realized they weren't racist because they liked, you know, their black American brother more than they liked their white American brother. And there's video footage of KKK being like, man, I like my black brother more than you know, white people. Like he started yelling at white people because he was like, you guys suck. This is my black homie now. That's how you change stuff. That's an extreme case and it takes a really strong individual to do that. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but there are some revolutionaries like me, Daryl Davis, and Donald Trump out there who are willing to go the distance, who are willing to go in a room with the people that we disagree with the most and that we might dislike the most, and we feel that we can change them by being nice to them. We feel that we can change the world through love and compassion and conversation rather than yelling on Twitter and putting out passive-aggressive articles in the HuffPost. I know, I get it. That's your strategy, and that's fine. And I get you have a failed ideology. There's nothing wrong with that. It's America. You're allowed. But stop trying to drag everybody down like myself or Daryl Davis or Donald Trump or Kanye West or, you know, whoever it may be, just because they have a more realistic approach than you have. So overall, I do want to say it's a total failed ideology of the left, and this is why they're destroying themselves, is because they have no self-awareness, regardless of how upset people might get with me. I'm your friend. I'm the friend that tells you the truth when you don't want to hear it, but really means the world. Because if you don't listen to me, I don't care. The right wing is taking over in Italy. They're taking over in Austria. They're taking over in Poland. They're starting to take over in Canada. They're taking over the United States, and they're going to begin to win everywhere. They're probably going to win in Sweden because of like delusional. And the way the right wing, I'm not right wing. I'm not Republican. I'm not conservative. You could say I am because I say common sense, and apparently that's right wing now because no one on the left has it. But I'm a central person just telling you how I feel. If you want the right wing to win, continue to be that type of left wing. Continue to be the left wing that's delusional, has no sense of safety or security or logic or reason, is all identity politics, it's all race, religion, gender, and sexual orientation. Continue to ignore reality, continue to hate, continue to point out all the flaws in conservatives instead of, you know, self-realizing that you have flaws yourself and we all have sins and we need to focus on those. You can do that. I don't care. The right wing is going to win everywhere. If you want to listen to me, if you look at me as a friend instead of like a negative force, which I am, I'm a decent person who's trying to tell you the truth when all the left-wing leaders are lying. If you listen to me and you get some self-accountability and you stop focusing on Donald Trump and you stop focusing on conservatives and you stop putting a microscope on the negativity and you're able to be honest about a situation that Donald Trump does well, you might actually win some elections. So I don't know. I know people get upset with me, but there's a reason the right wing is winning all over the world. There's a reason that the Liberal Party failed so much to Doug Ford and the Conservatives of Ontario that the Liberal Party lost official party status for the first time in their 163-year history in Ontario. It's not because of me or Donald Trump or racist and sexist. It's because there's a huge hole there that liberals and left-leaning people aren't missing. And that hole is an exact representation of what's happening in North Korea. It's that there's 0% self-accountability, 0% self-awareness, and 100% just blame the other person. If you're going to call Kim Jong-un a murderous dictator, talk about all the murderous people in the United States who have been overthrowing governments, installing puppet presidents, and emboldening terrorist groups in the Middle East for the last 15 years. So, you know, that's all I'm saying. And overall, that's the big thing that the media is missing, is you can't possibly please them. Either North Korea nukes us, we nuke them, we have a standoff where everyone's scared for 20 years, or we create world peace. There's no in the middle. And Donald Trump did the noble thing, which was created world peace. And now their silly, goofy, completely negative, nasty, pessimistic, awful, failing, horrible ideology of a narrative is, how dare he try to get along with a murderous regime and change them with love and compassion instead of with hate and negativity, because love trumps hate even though we're the most hateful people. Just stop already. Just take a week off, self-reflect, come back, and then the Democrats could win the election. I don't care if the Republicans or Democrats win the election. I want the best people to win the election. But the best people are not on the left anymore because they've spent the last 4 years just loving themselves and thinking that they're so great, and just they don't have an agenda anymore. They don't want to talk safety or security or border security or travel security or all the real problems that are, there's 100, 300 explosions in Sweden every year. Oh, but the Scandinavian countries have free healthcare. Even though it's socialism, it's not free. Yeah, they also have hundreds of grenade attacks. Google grenade attacks in Sweden. Why is that? Because the left wing's delusional. That's why Sweden's about to go right wing, and then Bernie Sanders isn't going to be able to say, but the Scandinavian countries are socialist. No, they flew to the right wing, the extreme right wing, because you messed it up with your dumb ideology. On to the next. President Trump and Kim